Hey everybody, this is the Fendor Moon, and today we're going to take a look at this really awesome figure set from the Power of the Force line, and it is the Purchase of the Droids. It came with 3 figures, and it includes Uncle Owen Lars, C-3PO, and Luke Skywalker himself. But before we dig into the figures, let's take a look at the packaging that it comes in. So the packaging is really cool. It's got here in the corner this image of Darth Vader. In the other corner you've got the Power of the Force logo, Star Wars Power of the Force logo. Something that was going on at the Power of the Force, some of the packaging has a Rebel Alliance stamp and some of it has an Imperial Empire, which is really cool because it separates with the figures into factions. Like basically, if you're buying this packaging, these are all good guys, or if you're buying this pack, these are all bad guys. It was a really fun fun detail on the packaging to kind of figure out. As you can see up here in the top corner, you've got the Kenner logo for the Kenner collection, because this is when Kenner was still making the Star Wars figures. In the back, you've got this really awesome picture, this really great still from the movie A New Hope of the Purchase of the Droids outside the Lars homestead. You've got Jawas lining up really overpriced, crappy droids to be sold, and it's really a nice detail. And there's a feature with this packaging where you can actually cut out the backdrop from this packaging and stick it in the stand, the base that these 3 figures are standing on, so you can actually have that picture behind them if you wanted to just display them, which is really cool. But if you look on the side, it's got the Star Wars Power of the Force logo, Purchase of the Droids, the faction symbol, same thing up here on the top, Power of the Force, Purchase, and then here on the bottom you've got the Power of the Force logo, but you have an artist depiction, like a professional photo of the 3 figures standing on the base with the backdrop in the display piece, which is really cool. So it's just telling you, like, this is what you could do, this is what it would look like if you wanted to display it. So let's look here at the back. We've got this really awesome image from the movie of Uncle Owen and Luke and C-3PO standing there with the Jawas among the other droids trying to make a deal. We've got this little blurb over here to the side. Down here at the bottom we have some more figures that came out in this line. The Snowtrooper, Luke Skywalker in a ceremonial outfit, Grand Moff Tarkin, Princess Leia in her Ewok celebration outfit, and then the Gamorrean Guard. There's also a checklist underneath that image so that you can check off the figures as you get them, and once you check them all off, you can just throw yourself a party because you've picked up all the figures in this line. You've got advertisement for the official Star Wars fan club that was going on at the time. You've got links to the Star Wars website and the Hasbro toy website. You've got the Kenner logo here, and you've got the proof of purchase, which was later turned into Jedi Master Points, where you could cut these out, and if you collected a certain amount of them, you can mail them in, and Kenner would give you a special mail-away offer that not everyone got, that you could only get from mailing those things in, which is really cool. Alright, so now that we've looked at the packaging, let's take a look at these figures. These figures are really cool. Right here you've got Luke Skywalker, and as per usual, we don't really have a Luke Skywalker figure that looks exactly like Mark Hamill. I think this doesn't even come really anywhere close, but we see this figure and go, oh look, that's Luke Skywalker. The paint application is pretty good. There's not a whole lot of bleed over. between the colors. As you can see, he's got a molded foot to stand in a certain way. He's got his macro binoculars, but they don't come off. They're molded to his belt right there. As far as articulation is concerned, Luke has a swivel head, swivel shoulders, swivel waist, and swivel hips. But overall, this is a really, really awesome figure. It does the job, you know. It's not perfect. It doesn't look exactly like Mark Hamill himself, but it does the job, you know. It's a nice addition, and especially at the time that it was released, this was probably one of the best looking Luke Skywalker figures out there, because early on in the Power of the Force, I mean, they had this thing with making all of the men and the figures just look super muscular. I mean, they looked like they came straight out of He-Man, and it was just kind of doofy looking. So this was probably a welcomed change at the time, you know, having a figure that wasn't just super muscular. So yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good figure though. Moving on, we'll put him on his base right here. We have, and as you can see here, he's got some really great desert scoring on him. He's got a lot of sandblasting. He's rusty. He looks damaged, which is exactly how he was when they found him, before he got his glorious oil bath that he so enjoyed. As for this figure, he's got a swivel neck, swivel shoulders. He's got a little bit of movement here on the waist, right in his torso, so it swivels a little bit, and he's got swivel hips. He's got this really great shine to him. That's one thing I love about this version of C-3PO, is that he's not matte. He's not just this weird yellow color. He's golden. Even with the tarnishing, he's got this really great finish to him. There's a lot of really great, really awesome details in the wiring in his torso, which I really like. You can see his restraining bolt on his chest right here. There's even a lot of detail in his hands. Like they did put that black, almost like a glove thing going on his palms, instead of just, you know, they could have easily just been a little lazy and been like, hey, well, I'm just gonna paint his whole hand gold. But they're trying their best to stay as true to what C-3PO actually looked like. They're trying to stay film accurate, as film accurate as they can, which I appreciate. That's one thing that the Power of the Force and the Power of the Jedi line did a pretty good job with, was trying their best to stay film accurate, if you can look past the the super muscular phase that they went through. He has a date stamp here on the bottom of his foot. Let's see if we can get that to focus. 1997. There we go. Hasbro China. So this is a really great figure as well. I really like this one. Let me put him back on his stand. Let's see if he can stand up. Alright. No. Alright, we'll just set him over here. And the last figure to look at in this line is actually Uncle Owen himself. There's not a whole lot of action figures floating around of Uncle Owen, even, gosh, let's see, like, even 20 years later. I think there's still only like 2 or 3, this being the first one. So this is Uncle Owen's first appearance as a 3.75 inch figure, which is really cool. He's not entirely accurate to what he looks like in the film, but they did a pretty good job. I mean, for a first appearance, it's pretty good. As far as articulation, he's got a swivel neck, swivel shoulders, swivel hips, and a swivel waist. Here, he's got this. It's not soft goods, but it's this kind of soft plastic, this soft rubber cape, which is it's movable. It doesn't hinder his movement at all, which I like. His hands are molded pretty good, so he can hold things. This one's into a fist. He looks almost like he's about to get into a fight with somebody. Like, hey, give me some great deals. But yeah, the paint application is really good. You can tell, like, they did a good job making him seem like desert worn. You know, like his cloak has that yellowish tint to it from the sand and the sun bleaching, and they put some white and gray in his hair. The facial hair is a little wonky looking, but not that bad. On the bottom of his foot, he has a date stamp, the 1977 Hasbro China. And this stand that they're on is really cool. It's got some pegs so that they can stand on it, some of the holes from where they had those wires holding them down. But this slot right here in the back is where you could cut that backdrop out and put it in here for display. So this set comes with an awful lot of really, really cool features, which is why I appreciate it so much. I got this set. It was a really, really great find. I went on a toy run in Asheville recently and picked this up from some of my good friends over at Pastimes in Asheville. Got it for a sweet deal. They're always super generous over there. Really great guys, and they're fun to talk to. But I'm super pleased to have this set, because I picked up a Sandcrawler. I've got Aunt Beru. I've got R5D4. I've got a lot of these Tatooine pieces and the Jawas and the droids. So this was kind of like the piece de resistance, having Uncle Owen to kind of cap off the collection. But yeah, I'm really excited to have this. I'm glad that I was able to share it with you guys. I would love to start a dialogue with you guys in the comments. If you've got dioramas, if you've got collections of the Sandcrawler and the purchase of the droids, post pictures. I'd love to see them. I love getting to talk to people about Star Wars and to talk to you guys about your collections. It's just it's so much fun, and I love getting to do this with you guys. So until next time, I'm the Fendor Moon. Godspeed, Rebels.